The UN has declared the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. 123 countries voted in favour of this resolution, about 57 abstained. 3 countries voted against calling the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. Which 3 countries do you think they were? I'll give you a clue. 2 of them are exactly the countries that you think. And 1 is a country that recently received a lot of money from one of the countries that you already know is one of the countries that voted against this. So here are all the countries that voted in favour of the resolution. You can see all those green ones. A lot of countries, about 57 countries, actually abstained. They're mainly European countries, countries that benefited from slavery, or the allies of those countries. And the reasons this resolution is so controversial is because it's seen as a huge step on the way to demanding reparations. And that's something that countries that benefited from the transatlantic slave trade, of course, are very reluctant to get involved with, even though they were very happy to pay off the slave owners themselves. And in the case of Britain, that's a debt that was only completely paid off about 10 years ago. So we're talking about very recently, Britain was still paying off the interest accrued on loans that were taken out to pay off slave owners. So which countries voted against this resolution? Well, Argentina did, of course. They recently received a lot of money from the United States. And the other 2 countries were, of course, the US and Israel. And at this stage, it's as if the US and Israel aren't even trying to be good countries anymore. The mask is completely off and they're just overtly anti-humanity.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh. Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Kakadash. That one is the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well, being great examples to our younger brothers. Peace and blessings, roll for a leg, Lord, whatever be a part of that number. I'm the brother Quadar from the GMS Bench, Chicago. Come back with another video. You know, this video is going to be entitled Crimes Against Humanity. All right, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, reading now from the BBC News. All right, it says the UN votes to recognize enslavement of Africans as gravest crime against humanity. And we understand that it's not Africans, all right, because the so-called Africans, which are the Hamites, all right, they actually participated in the slave trade, along with the Ishmaelites, along with the so-called Edomite, the so-called white man, which is the Edomites. Okay, so give me 1 second. All right. So as you see in the clip before you, man, you know, hey, these are the devils. hey, this is clearly the devil, man. You know, that so-called H thing that happened. All right, in which the numbers were like the Elder Malcolm says, more holes than Swiss cheese. The numbers are so inaccurate. All right, the fact that they claimed that it did happen, you know, and there was wooden chambers and different things. It just doesn't make any sense, you know. And I seen Elder Malcolm made a video about this earlier. Okay, and you don't just watch your leader, you know, go into battle, you know, and just fall back. You know, hell no, I'm gonna attack this as well. You know, I wanted to do a video on this as well, man. You know, we don't have to read the whole article, man. You know, because obviously the United States, Israel, and Argentina, who's ran by Amalek, voted no. You know, along with the countries that chose not to pick a side or chose not to give an answer, which that's a no as well. Okay. It says 52 countries abstained, including the United Kingdom and European Union member states. Okay, because hey, they're also Edomites as well, ran by Amalek. All right. Let's see. Cool. Now let me get to this right here. Okay, because it says U.S., Israelis, and Argentina vote against Ghana's UN resolution seeking justice and reparations for the transatlantic slave trade. Right, everyone's getting their reparations except the Israelites. All right. right? But we're going to get true reparations soon, you know, because true reparation is in blood, man. Okay, let's grab this Numbers, the 33rd chapter. All right, we're just going through the spirit, man. You know, and I'm also bring out the information how Amalek funded the ships. Okay? Numbers 35 and verse 33. It says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, for the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." Right? You saw Edom shed the blood of the apple of the Lord's eye, which are the Hebrew Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, that in itself, you had the Northern Kingdom being shipped to the Northern Africa and what they call Europe, okay, which is Western Asia. And then you had the so-called Negroes being shipped from the western coast of Africa, okay, the land of Ham, and to the Virgin Islands and to America. Okay, so this devil has to pay. He has to pay. Let's grab this Deuteronomy 28. Okay, and now that shameful spewing is being put on his glory, man. Okay, it says, and look at these three fucking devils, man. Let's start out with this ugly ass nigga right here, man. This is clearly an Amalekite. You know, I literally just seen this dude's name. I forgot his name. I always forget his name, man. But this dude's obviously an Amalekite, man. Look at his spirit. Look at this nigga's spirit, man. You know, and you know about the whole Greater Israel Project. All right, they trying to make Argentina, you know, nations like Argentina, Uganda, they're 2.0 countries, man, because they know they're going to be wiped from the face of the earth, man. Okay? Look at this devil. And look at this devil. Okay? Hey, this devil just sent damn near like, what was it, billions to this devil in his land. You know? This isn't a coincidence, okay? And everyone in the green is in favor, everyone in the red is in against, and everyone in the abstention, all right, meaning they're not choosing a side or making a decision, okay? They're playing offense, okay? But that also means that they're for it. Okay, if they not against it, you know, Albania, and this all goes back to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, because all of them had a first of all, let me grab this first, Maccabees 2 and 10. All right, it says first Maccabees 2 and 10. One nation have not had a part in her kingdom, and God never spoiled. So all these nations have had have played a part in our captivity, have benefited from it, man. They have no excuse. Okay? They all know about us being the Israelites, man. Except our people. But now our people are waking up worldwide. Hey, look at Twitter X, man. The whole world knows. Hey, the world knows the truth now, man. All right? Starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right? Because the Lord has put the Spirit on them to reveal this truth. And the Scriptures say knowledge being increased. Okay? Look at all these countries, man. I'm just going through it myself as well. Albania, Algeria, Andorra, Angola, Argentina in the red. Yep. Cambodia, Fiji. Denmark. Canada, Finland, France, Germany, of course, Ghana, Greece, Grenada, Guatemala, Guinea, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, Hungary, Iceland, Japan. Hey, Moab got to pay too. Okay. It's my home country right there. Yeah, but you see all these countries that's in the yellow, those are the countries that decided not to vote. Okay, and which I said, if you're not against it, you're for it. Okay. Ukraine, of course, Amalek like a motherfucker. All right, United Kingdom. Okay, United States chose the red. All right. Yeah. and the slave ships were funded by Amalekites, man. I made a lesson on this, man. Just look at my history playlist, and you'll find all lessons like this, man. Just look at this, take a screenshot. It'll be wise to take a screenshot, but they've benefited from it. Okay, and Amalek was at the forefront. Okay. This Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, it says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships," all right, that house of bondage, that captivity. All right, it says, "By the way whereof I spake it to thee, thou shalt see it no more again." And as a whole collective, as a nation, our people have not been back in that land. All right, a bastard, all right, is dwelling at Ashdod, as the scripture says, man. All right, heathens are dwelling in that land right now. It says, "Thou shalt see it no more again. There ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and for bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." We haven't been delivered yet. All right, that word "buy" goes into redeem. We have not been delivered yet. Yahweh Shai will redeem us. He'll deliver us. His name literally means he delivers. He saves. Yahi, Yahweh Shai, deliver or save. Okay. The scripture says sovereignty is of the highest. So Yahweh Shai is going to come deliver us, man. Let me grab the Psalms 37. This is Psalms, the 83rd chapter in verse 1. It says, a song or psalm of Asaph, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Yahweh, hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. And the Lord is talking to his mouthpieces, which are the prophets. Okay, it says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one." These are all the nations in confederacy, plotting against our people. They have said, "Come, and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance." And that's their goal, to constantly exterminate us, man. Look at that. Look at Pharaoh. All right, look at Herod. All right, look at what this fucking devil is doing right now to our people, man, with the Planned Parenthood, with this polluting our food, polluting the minds of our people. Okay? Sterilizing our people, man. Ultimately, hey, look at Haman. Ultimately, these devils, these heathens want to exterminate the chosen people of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? Hey, and even those countries that were in the green, they got to pay too. They know what's up. Hey, some of these countries in the green, they got to pay too, man. Hey, because ultimately they all played a part. Okay? I might make this the thumbnail. All right. It says, "For they have consulted against with one consent. They are confederate against thee." All right, they're all together in on this. That's why they all know about it. "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom," okay, the so-called white man. All right, the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arab. All right, of Moab, Chinese, and the Hagarenes. All right, it says Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. All right, Assyria is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasan. All right, Salakia. All right, and that's the point because they all played a part in our captivity, man. Okay, let me grab a Psalm 137. It says, let's see, where should I start? Let's see. I'll start at verse 7. Really, you can start at 1, but I'll start at verse 7. It says, remember, O Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Okay? Hey, because those Edomites, hey, they assisted the Babylonians with capturing our people. They encouraged them to capture our people. Who attacked us when we came out of Egypt? Who attacked the young, the sickly, and the old? It was Esau. All right. It says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art thou to be to be destroyed? Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee, as thou hast served us. Happy he shall be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." Hey, so we're gonna get that big payback, man. Okay, that big payback is coming. All right, since I mentioned that, I think it's First Maccabees 2 and is it 68? Recompense fully the heathen and take heed to the commandments of the law. Okay? Hey, so we're going to recompense fully the heathens, man. Hey, they're going to, as a matter of fact, Revelation 13 and verse 10. Okay, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. If the Lord did this to us because we sinned against him, what do you think he's going to do to you as a fucking heathen who touched his people, man? All right, these heathens got judgment coming for them. Hey, Amalek is at the forefront. All right, his bitch ass going to be exterminated, man. Let's read the book of Obadiah. Okay, I'm going to keep the Psalms 149 on deck, man, because the spirit, like, go get that. All right, keep that on deck. You know, spirit, like, keep this on the back burner, man, you know. Obadiah 1, and let me see, I'm going to start at, let's see. I start at verse 11. It says, in the day, so like I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Okay? And Esau participated in it. Okay, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Right. They seen us suffer, they seen us going to put into captivity, they celebrated. Okay, it says, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Right, because when Jake was escaping for those Babylonians, you look into the history, hey, Esau was cutting them off. You know? Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Okay, let's read this Psalms 149. Okay, it says, Psalm 149 and 5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with feathers of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Hey, you're going to get that big payback, put you fucking heathens into captivity. All right, for 1,000 years, man. All right, Esau Edom wasn't promised no mercy. He's actually going to be exterminated. Okay? This is Job 18. Really, you can start up right here. Okay, I'm going to bounce around. All right. Obadiah 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, Okay? It says, and really you can start up, but I want to get straight to the point. It says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it." Okay? Hey, so Esau Edom is going to get exterminated. Okay? He's going to be exterminated. Rightfully so. Just Job 18:5. Yeah. "The light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine." Okay? He's going to be put out. It says the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be out, like it shall be put out with him. Okay? Let's read on down. This Job 18, and you can start at 14, but I'll start at 16. It says, "His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branches be cut off." Right? He's going to be, like I said, exterminated. All right? "His remembrance shall perish from the earth. He shall have no name in the streets. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world." We're going to get rid of this nigga, man. "He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling." And why does it emphasize the son or nephew? It could have said the mom. It could have said the daughter, the sister. All right? But it won't. It says the son or nephew because the seed is through the father. You can regrow a nation through the father. So if you cut off the man's seed, that's it. And that lets you know, hey, these devils know. All right? That's the seed line is through the father, man. Job 20 and let's see. Start at verse 5. Job 20 verse 5. "That the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment." Right, because this devil's, he's up right now. He's so-called winning. But his kingdom is coming crashing down. He's being exposed. That shameful spewing is being put on his glory. The whole world knows he's a devil now. He's just going to have to come out with the sword. "Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. Which have seen him shall say, Where is he?" Okay? "He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yet he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him." Okay? It says, "His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their good." Right? Because these niggas are guilty, man. These Edomites are guilty. These heathens are guilty. All right? Hey, call all Yahweh Shem Shai Bashem Kakwadash. All right? Hey, the whole world is talking about how the transatlantic slave trade was far more brutal than the so-called H that happened in WW2. All right? That false-ass event. So, Lord, when it is edifying, when you give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Kakwadash. That will honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to those for elect. Lord willing, will be a part of that number. Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and the bottom of all Mahar.